Hi, it's Nathan here. The Hazardous Manual Task Code of Practice provides advice to businesses on how to manage the risk of hazardous manual tasks. Commonly, we would just call it manual handling, but the important thing to remember here is it also includes like ergonomics as well, so sitting or holding sustained postures. So the things we need to consider are listed in the early section, so things like awkward postures, sustained postures, high force, repetitive movements. These things all increase the risk of these hazardous manual tasks. So first, the tricky thing is when we think about manual handling or hazardous manual tasks, a lot of us, we sort of just jump to like administrative controls. So if we're lifting something heavy, we think, well, let's train our workers, manual handling training, lift with our legs, not with our back, team lifts, that sort of stuff. But legally, we need to start with like the higher level controls. So like workplace design, trying to eliminate or minimize the need for manual handling. And then if we can't do that, look at like mechanical aids. And then if we can't do that, then we're down to these administrative controls. So the good news is a lot of us will actually have these engineering devices or mechanical devices already in use. So things like trolleys, pallet jacks, forklifts, those are all things that we use to sort of minimize manual handling. So that's the first thing I'll be talking about when I go to workplaces. When we talk about manual handling, there's like, can we have trolleys? Can we have the workplace set up so we're minimizing the amount of manual handling that workers do. Really good example, we had a client that had an injury. They had a receptionist who was all of maybe 45 kilograms, and she's working as a receptionist, right? So it's not like there's not a lot of manual handling, but there was some. They were getting deliveries at the front door, and the problem was they were getting these deliveries. A lot were small, but some weren't. Some were like 15, 20 kilogram boxes, and there was nowhere to put the delivery. So the delivery drivers were just putting it on the floor. So this poor young lady was having to like bend down and pick up 20 kilogram boxes regularly, and ended up injuring herself. So it's like, hey, you can get a $30 table from Kmart, so that we're minimizing the need to have to, or eliminating the need to have to bend down, or better yet, a trolley. And it's probably overkill, but a trolley, for example, and they can sit it on the trolley and wheel it down to wherever it needs to go. So yeah, we need to start with those high level controls. My understanding is that administrative controls like training and safe work procedures, there's no evidence that they actually reduce the number of claims for manual handling. That's my understanding anyway. So yeah, once again, we really need to start with these high level controls. And then in terms of ergonomics, one that we see most often is obviously working in an office. So the first thing we'll look at when we're in an office is good chairs, good desks, screen mounts if people want them, sit-stand desks. Tricky one with when people start working from home, but technically should be provided if they work from home as well. Safe equipment, we just want to make sure, people aren't sitting on a milk crate and, hunched over a little laptop all day. And then in workshops, having benches that are the right height, that sort of stuff. And then, ongoing consultation with workers, having things like ergonomics checklists where we can actually go through and check with the workers to like, hey, how are you feeling? Is this set up correctly? And whether it's a workstation or a work desk. And then also discomfort surveys or just like incident reports, injury reports, so workers can say like, hey, this doesn't feel comfortable, just so it's, put on the radar, and then obviously the business needs to respond to that and get it fixed. Hope that helps.